Hey there, YouTube! Welcome back to another episode of Road to Ribtown, a series documenting my journey of learning all there is to know about cooking ribs. This episode comes to you from the beautiful Smoky Mountains of North Carolina. For this cook, I'll be smoking some all-natural, no-hormone-added baby back ribs at my wife's request from the Greenfield Natural Meat Company. For sauce and rub today, I'll be using some Butcher's Blend pork rub from Fliesher's out of New York and Stubbs Original Barbecue Sauce out of Austin, Texas. And if you think about it, I'm kind of in the middle of both of them. It's kind of cool. So before I put on today's rub, I'm just going to apply some olive oil from a spray can as a binder. Now in the past video or two I've used vegetable oil, but honestly there are a number of things you can use. All this does is help the rub adhere to the ribs. Now from my experience thus far, I think a binder really doesn't impart much flavor. But you should realize that if you use something like yellow mustard, it may affect the color. With the Weber Smoky Mountain already up and running, steady around 225, I wasted no time and got those ribs on, but I realized I forgot to put some wood chunks in when I assembled the smoker, so using the access door, I threw in a couple chunks of hickory and cherry. Okay, so here's a look at the ribs around the 3-hour mark, if I remember correctly, and in this video I just wanted to experiment with the bend break test. I really wanted to see what the ribs looked like and how they acted each hour until they were done. Now, as you can see, they're not bending at 90 degrees, there's no crack on the outer surface of the flesh, and they're obviously not breaking. What you can see, though, is that there is some pullback from the bone. So since they're obviously not done, I repeated what I did in the first and second hour, which is spray the ribs down with some Coca-Cola, which is something I had not tried before, and it's, well, all I brought. Alright, so here we are on hour 4. And the ribs now look like they're bending about 90 degrees, and there is some splitting on the outer flesh of the rib, as you can see, but no break. A check of the internal temperature shows them to be about 177, and there is a bit more pullback on the bone. So we're getting there, but with no break and a low internal temp, I think they need more time. Okay, so now we are at the 4.5 hour mark, and a check of the ribs shows that they are bending at or beyond 90 degrees and are cracking much more in the outer flesh, but there's no break. A check of the internal temperature shows them to be around 185. So the question is, are they done? Well, since there's no break and our temp is below 190, I'd guess no, but we're awfully close. Now in episodes 4 and 5, I removed the center section of the WSM and put the ribs right over the coals after they were sauced. But today, I'm just going to sauce them and let it ride out until they're done. This is how most folks finish ribs, by saucing them in the last 20 minutes or so, which is about how long I figured it'll take for these ribs to be done. Now today, I'm back to using this cotton mop to apply the sauce, and as you can see, it's not very good at applying a thick barbecue sauce, and the vast majority of it gets soaked up into the brush, which is a waste of money. Mops like these are really good for thinner barbecue sauces like the Eastern and Lexington style sauces that we have in the Carolinas, but unless I'm mopping a whole hog, I think I'll be back to using a synthetic brush from here on out. Alright, so here's a look at our ribs about 20 minutes or so later, which is right around a 5-hour total cook time. Now the ribs here do break, but I guess it's more so because one of the bones got caught up. Anyways, in my opinion, they certainly appear to be done, and a check of the internal temperature shows them to be around 141. Wait, what? Ugh. Well, I guess this just goes to show what they say is true. Getting consistent internal temperature for ribs is quite difficult, and that's why the bend and break test and other methods are more preferred. I guess the real question for this cook is, could I have pulled them off sooner? Did I leave them on for too long? I don't know. The finished product came out well. The ribs were moist, gave a clean bite, still adhered to the bone, so everything seemed right. But I have to tell you, as far as the barbecue sauce goes, Stubbs is pretty lame on ribs. Cook's Country Magazine did an article on store-bought sauces, and it listed Stubbs as not recommended, and I have to agree. So, you live and you learn. Alright, so some of you might be asking why I didn't use the Thermometer MK4 in this video. Well, that's because the display on it got smashed on the return flight home from episode 6. I had thought that all was lost, then I found out that ThermoWorks does repairs. So I picked up the phone, I told them what happened, they told me to ship it out. So I did. A few days later, it was fixed and back at my door. The best part about this story is that the repair was covered under warranty. They paid the return shipping too. And if the repair had not been covered under warranty, it would only have cost me $25, which is still a pretty good deal in my opinion. So here it is, fixed, calibrated, good as new. Well done, ThermoWorks. That's all there is for this episode, folks. Hope you join me next time on the road to Ribtown, where I make mistakes so you don't have to. Thanks for watching, y'all.